It's not often a Star Trek episode comes out that actually kind of makes me upset, that makes me adhere towards the side of negativity, unfortunately. Really try my best to be objective and tell you guys the things that I do like as much as the things that I don't like. Today's episode just makes me feel like I was scammed out of waiting an entire week for us to unfortunately return to Trill and kind of wrap up some of the more weak aspects of Discovery. We have Adira, Tal, Grey Tal, this relationship that for some reason they felt the need to use screen time to have them awkwardly break up, and a lot of time having Culber walk around this valley, just walking backwards as this Jinaal character. This is, of course, a callback to the Deep Space Nine episode Facets, where Jadzia Dax and all of the previous Dax hosts were transferred into her friends, and it was a pretty entertaining episode, unlike this one, because they strangely decided to put this character into Dr. Culber and not Adira, who's actually like a symbiote Trill. I thought it would make a lot more sense to, kind of have Adira do it and make them the center of the episode. It really seems like they just shot 4 different scenes in the same valley, in the same perimeter, and they just shot it from different angles, trying to make it seem like they're walking long distances. And then we come to the part of the episode that legitimately makes me mad. Why did they feel like, instead of just giving us some compelling scenes of likable characters like Saru, or possibly even Raynor, instead of giving us more of those scenes, they decided to just use a whole bunch of budget, have basically some children sit in a back room and create another one of these weird, large monsters that is very not Star Trek-like. We already had the warp worms, we had the tardigrade in season 1, which is pretty cool, but I swear there was also some ridiculous-looking creature when Tilly landed down with her cringy students back in the previous season. And now we have these abysmally created large moth-like Mothra creatures. Book and Michael running around evading these things is not inherently entertaining. I have to be honest with you. The Trill people let these giant apex predators even exist and roam free on the planet. They seem like they could easily kill 10 people. Like, this thing could take on 4 grizzly bears, no problem. It's just really bad, and it doesn't scream competent writing or production. It screams like we've given money to maybe some like young dumb people and they decided to create that. It makes me really upset. Today's episode was actually so bad and ridiculous, I'm actually struggling to put it into words. When those large moth-like creatures not only had stealth technology, but they shot out these energy spikes that glowed as though they were Tyranids from Warhammer 40k, I was fed up. I was actually frustrated about how I had waited a whole entire week, maybe expecting some well-written Star Trek with some antagonistic characters, some good plot. I really was looking forward to seeing a lot of Saru, a lot of this space race towards this progenitor technology that's being teased, and all I got was Culber walking backwards, this ridiculous alien that I know they spent a ton of time and money designing and animating and having Sonequa and them do these stunt scenes around, but it is just soulless. It didn't do anything for me. I know that I'm not gonna see this alien ever again in my freaking life. It doesn't even make any sense for apex predators this large to be on Trill. Stop acting like Trill is a planet full of cave people that just live in the symbiote caves. They definitely have like TGI Fridays in regular buildings and stuff, when you consider Ezri Dax's mom was like a business lady who ran an entire corporation. The symbiotes only take up a minority of the population, so the rest of society has to work at like Subway and shit. It is really ridiculous. Why is this episode so bad? We had this really melodramatic breakup between Adira and Grey Tal, which didn't even need to be happening. It could have been off-screened like Kes and Neelix. It was a really melodramatic scene that is just, I feel like, going to appeal to such a niche amount of very sensitive people. Like, this is not an episode that I would ever put on and watch with the boys after we've drank in a couple beers and just got done watching football highlights, if you know what I mean. It's just a really goopy episode with no substance. We were in 3 different places, and not one of them really wowed me. Wanted to make this episode good, make it all about Raynor and him having a better relationship with the crew and him kind of facing this demotion head on and the struggles of going from the captain's chair to now being a commander. Or you should have just like had a full Saru episode and him having a bunch of very scandalous interactions with just political rivals, and then also just like this political advisor. We got one scene from him shaking Saru's jimmies, and that was it. I really expected him to come back, press the issue, be an antagonist, but no. Russell Saru's jimmies, and then Saru went to Tarina and was like, I want to protect you. I don't know if we should be doing this. Tarina's like, I don't need your protection. That's not what I asked for. We're in a fight right now, and I'm upset with you. Overused cliche that's used a lot, and I've seen it before, where a character is loving for the first time, and when they're in a relationship for the first time and they get in an argument, they think that they're breaking up and the world is over. Nothing about this episode makes me happy. Everything about it makes me pretty upset. There was a lot of preachy, melodramatic delivery in this episode, which is a criticism that I have particularly of Season 4, and I have just seen so much of Season 4 in this episode alone. It really scares me, frustrates me, and makes me a negative Nancy seeing this, I'm sorry, just on the 3rd episode of 10. This episode also went out of their way to just tell us that Nielsen is no longer a part of the bridge crew and that she's on Voyager. We're never gonna see her actress again. They probably didn't want to pay her to come back. This episode was so broke. It really was. When Culber walked backwards for damn near half of it, just kind of yapping, I really got mad. I'm giving this episode a 2 out of 10. I want to give it a 1 out of 10. This is one of the worst episodes of Star Trek ever made. It really, unfortunately, is going to make me seem like a hater, a negative Nancy, that I am drinking the haterade, but I am just kind of tired and cranky that I stayed up to watch this product. They were supposed to deliver an entertaining, good product, and this episode screams broke, didn't learn anything from the past, does not do a good job of furthering the story, filler. With all that being said, thank you so much for sticking around and watching me complain. If you're enjoying any of the content on the channel, I'd be very flattered if you were to subscribe. Please leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know if I'm a psychopath and I'm just hating on it too much and this was a fine episode, or if you agree with me and that this is subpar and a bad product from Star Trek Discovery. With all that being said, hope you all have a good rest of your week. Live long and prosper.